Then up rose Mrs. Cratchit, dressed out but poorly, in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, which are cheap and make a goodly show for 6 pence. And she laid the cloth, assisted by Belinda Cratchit, also brave in ribbons, while Master Peter Cratchit plunged his fork into the saucepan of potatoes, getting the corners of his monstrous collar caught into his mouth. And then in came 2 younger Cratchits, boy and girl, screaming that outside the baker shops they had smelled the goose and known it for their own. Oh, and basking in luxurious thoughts of sage and onion. These 2 young Cratchits danced about the table and exalted Master Peter Cratchit to the skies, while he blew the fire on the till the slow potatoes, bubbling up, knocked against the saucepan lid to be taken out and peeled. "There's father coming!" cried the 2 young Cratchits, and in came little Bob the father in his threadbare clothes, darned up in brush to look seasonable, with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder. Alas for Tiny Tim, he bore a little crutch and had his limbs supported by an iron frame. And while the 2 young Cratchits hustled Tiny Tim to a stool before the fire, Bob, turning up his cuffs, as if, poor fellow, they were capable of being made to look more shabby, compounded a mixture in a jug with gin and lemons, and stirred it round and set it on the hob to simmer. Master Peter and the 2 ubiquitous young Cratchits went off to the baker's shops to fetch the goose, with which they soon returned in high procession. Never was there such a goose. Bob Cratchit said he didn't think there ever was such a goose cooked. Its tenderness and flavour, size and cheapness were the themes of universal admiration. Eked out by applesauce and mashed potatoes, it was a dinner sufficient for the entire family. Indeed, everyone had had enough, and even the 2 youngest Cratchits were steeped in sage and onion to the eyebrows. Oh. "Merry Christmas, my dears," said Bob. "God bless us."
"God bless us, everyone,"
said Tiny Tim. "Oh, to Mr. Scrooge," said Bob. "I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast." "The founder of the feast, indeed," said Mrs. Cratchit. "I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I'd hope he'd have a good appetite for it." "My dear," said Bob, "the children, Christmas Day." "Well, it should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, when one drinks to the health of such a stingy, odious, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. Well, you know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you." "Poor fellow." "Oh, my dear," said Bob, "Christmas Day." "Oh, all right. I'll drink his health for your sake, and for the day's, but not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas." Oh, stop it. "A Merry Christmas and stop it. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt." Stop it, Robert. She drank the toast after them, and the children followed. But it was the first of their proceedings that had no heartiness. Tiny Tim drank it last of all, but he didn't care 2pence for it.
"Scrooge was the ogre of the family."
The mention of his name cast a dark shadow on the party that lasted for a full 5 minutes. After it had passed, they were 10 times merrier than before. The chestnut and the jug went round, and by they had a song from Tiny Tim, who had a plaintive little voice and sang it very well indeed. "Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see lie. Above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee.